Welcome back to Sew with Sarai. Today I'm going to show you my entire design process for the upcoming season. So stick around to the end if you want to see all the projects I'm going to be sewing this spring. To design this collection, as usual, I'm using the Design Your Wardrobe process and the downloadable planner, which you can get for free. So we'll put a link to that below. I use this process every single season. And if you want to check out a past season, you can take a look at the videos I made on the fall and spring wardrobe plans I had last year. So we'll link to those below as well. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I did was I printed out my planner and I put it in a binder, which I do every time. And this is the planner I mentioned that you can get for free. And I always use this to design my wardrobe every season. So again, we'll link to that below if you want to try this process yourself. Next, I cleared off my corkboard that had all my fall and winter inspiration on it. I really love what I did with my fall wardrobe. I didn't make everything I'd planned to make, but the things I did make, I have been wearing a lot. And I just find this process of designing out all my projects for the season so helpful. And I end up making things that I wear all the time. And I'm even wearing one of my projects right here. I save my mood board images in case I want to use them again. That sometimes makes it a lot easier to make mood boards again in the future. Now that I've gotten all prepped and prepared, it's time to start planning. So I start by looking through all my Pinterest boards and all the inspiration that I've collected over time. I create a new one for spring and I start just dumping things in there that are inspiring me right now. Going through all my inspiration like this really gets me in the right frame of mind and thinking about spring. And then I go into the planning process. So the first step in my planner is this goal sheet. So my goal for this collection is to create a handful of everyday pieces that feel special to me. And the reason that I want to do that is I really want the things I make to be both beautiful and useful. I feel like that's something that has really been important to me in the last couple years, and I want to continue with that. The words that describe the concept of my collection this time, and a lot of this comes from all that inspiration I've just been reviewing and collecting, is romantic, detailed, and chic. And I decided that my collection is going to be called Chic But Chill. And the reason for that, the chicness is something that aesthetically I really just want to bring forward, and that word chill, I just want things to be really wearable and comfortable. That's something that's really important to me. I really want my clothes to be things that I actually want to put on day to day. Sometimes it can be hard defining exactly the words you want to use for your collection. So one thing I like to keep in mind is that the words don't really have to mean anything to anybody but you. If it evokes the mood and the feeling that you want to have when you get dressed in this coming season, that's all that really matters. Next in my planner, I take a look at the context that I want to design for. So these are the life contexts that I really want to focus on and design for this season. The first one is working from home, which I do a lot. And the criteria I have for that are that my clothing is comfortable, it's walkable because I go for walks with my dog every day, it's layerable, and it's soft. The second context is working from the studio. So for that, mobility is really important to me. Again, comfort is very important, and I want it to look okay on camera. And then finally, the last one is friend dates. I really want to spend more time with friends this season. And for that, my clothing just needs to be comfortable and I want to feel put together. Next, I start creating my new physical mood board for spring. So I start by curating that main Pinterest board that I made for spring and start picking things out and whittling it down a little bit. Then I print out some pictures and I put it all together on my big cork mood board. I really like to work in a physical mood board. It just really helps me to keep things in the forefront of my mind every day. What I notice as I go through all these pictures that are inspiring me right now, there are a lot of blue florals, there's a lot of toile pattern, ruffles around the neck, dramatic sleeves, and also a lot of classic stripes. I really like that juxtaposition of the classic stripes with these really romantic details. Next, it's time to build my palette. So the palette is separated into neutrals, basics, statements, and prints. So looking through my inspiration, I go through my stash and start pulling out a lot of fabrics that match my images here. So I pulled out a lot of white and I pulled out a lot of blue. And I just want to say it's okay if you don't have the fabrics you need yet at this point. I just like to create a general idea and kind of spot the holes. Maybe there are fabrics that I need to buy or source still, but this just gives me the overall idea and it's easy for me to spot holes or maybe make swaps later. So my palette ended up being very, very simple, and I decided to add a Breton striped knit. I also wanted a smaller blue floral print. So I went through all my scraps and I found this beautiful print called Petite Garden Lawn from Seven Berry, which is from Robert Kaufman. And I incorporated that as well. Once I have the initial fabrics, I like to take my fabrics and stack them all up where I can see them every day. That just really helps me to keep them in the forefront of my mind again and have that visual reminder of my focus for the season. Next, it's time to sketch out the outfits I want to create. So I use Procreate on my iPad to sketch, and if you want to learn more about that, be sure to check out our video all about sketching with Procreate. So I really don't focus on making my sketches perfect. I just want to get a general idea of the outfit so that I can break them down into the garments I want to make. Once I have them, I print them out 4 to a page. So here are the outfits that I decided on. This is what I'm going to be making this season. Then I'll talk a little bit about each individual project. So first is an A-line skirt with a ruffle top. Next is that same A-line skirt with a striped sweater. And finally, again, an A-line skirt with a chemise type blouse. And then finally, I'd like to make a print dress, which I'd wear with sandals or espadrilles, just a very, very simple outfit for spring. Okay, so let's talk about these projects. The next thing I do is I break down the outfits into individual projects, and this is really the heart of it. This is gonna be my sewing cue for spring. So the first project I'm gonna make is one that you saw repeated in those outfits again and again, which is an A-line skirt. So to make an A-line skirt, I'm gonna use the Colette Patterns Ginger skirt, which is an oldie but a goodie. And I'm gonna make version 3, which has this really cool chevron pattern. And I'm gonna use a white or a cream corduroy. So instead of stripes, I'm gonna use the texture of the corduroy to create that chevron pattern, which I think is gonna look really, really cool. Next, I'm planning this really pretty ruffle tank, and you'll see this pattern coming really soon. And for this one, I really want to experiment with edge placement and eyelet fabric. I love wearing eyelet in spring and summer. It's one of my favorite fabrics to work with, and there's so much cool stuff you can do with it because it often has a really interesting border on it. So I'm going to use that to experiment and do some cool things. Next is the Callan sweater, which is our new pattern. I'm gonna make a really simple, beautiful striped sweater, just like one of the samples that we made. And for that, I'm gonna use a heavy knit, so either a French terry or a ponte. I'm gonna see what I can find. Next is the Chantel dress. I've been wanting to make this for a long time, so I'm gonna use this floral rayon that I already have in my stash. And I'm gonna experiment with this rayon. I'm not sure if the fabric's gonna grow a lot as I sew with it, so I'm gonna try it out and see how it goes. Next up is a simple chemise type top, and I wear this kind of top all the time with skirts, with jeans, with everything. So I wanna make this in a pretty lawn print, and I think I'm gonna use that Robert Kaufman Seven Berry print for this with the blue floral, and I think that's gonna be so, so pretty. And next up is this beautiful chic midi dress that has these beautiful sleeves and a high neckline, and this is also a pattern that's coming out soon. And I don't usually wear high necklines, and so this one's gonna be a little bit of an experiment for me style-wise. Now that I have all these projects planned, I pin them up on my mood board with all of my inspiration. And then I like to add a few fabrics here and there just to give the mood board a little bit more color and texture. And now I am feeling so inspired for spring. I really love the way all these projects fit together. It feels very cohesive to me, and I have a really good idea of what I want to make and how it's all going to come together. And then I also have a queue of projects, so I know exactly where to start and what I'm going to end up with. What about you? Have you started thinking about spring sewing yet? Comment and let me know if there's anything you're particularly excited to make. I love having a process like this to turn to each season. And if you want to try a process like this for yourself, you can download our free planner that I mentioned. And if you really want to dig in and create things you want to wear, check out our Design Your Wardrobe program. It walks you through this whole process step by step. You can learn more about that at the link below. It's also one of the best benefits of becoming a Seamwork member. When you join, you get access to our entire catalog of over 200 modern sewing patterns, from quick and easy tops to wear anywhere dresses to tailored blazers and pants. We help you to design and craft your own wardrobe. Membership also gets you access to Design Your Wardrobe, our popular course that walks you through a process for laying out a seasonal wardrobe that you can sew. Plus, membership includes our library of dozens of sew-along classes, and best of all, access to our private sewing community, including tens of thousands of members, where you can post projects, ask questions, and even find sewing friends near you. I hang out there all the time along with Haley and the rest of the team here at Seamwork, and I'd love for you to join me. YouTube subscribers get half off a Seamwork membership, making it an incredibly good deal. To sign up, just click the button on screen or the link in the description below to claim your offer. I hope you loved this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.